I'm a 33-year-old woman, and I have a younger sister. Let's call her Emily, 31F. Growing up, I've always had issues with my body image. In my teens, I developed bulimia, which I battled for over 10 years. I've been through 2 inpatient treatment programs, and while I'm in recovery now, it's still a daily struggle. Emily has always been naturally thin. She's 5 feet 1 inch and barely over 100 pounds without even trying. People have always admired her petite frame, constantly telling her how tiny and adorable she is. When we were kids, our grandma used to say she was the beauty of the family, which made me feel like I was the ugly one. I remember once when I was about 15, overhearing some relatives saying how they wished they had Emily's figure and how unfortunate it was that I took after Dad's side of the family. I've tried to talk to Emily about how these comparisons affected me growing up. I told her that constantly hearing people praise her figure while ignoring or subtly criticizing mine contributed to my eating disorder. She usually just shrugs and says she can't help how she looks and that I shouldn't blame her. So last weekend, Emily and I went out to dinner with our husbands. She's 7 months pregnant with her first child, and I was genuinely happy for her. I asked her how the pregnancy was going and if she's struggling with her body changing. When I was pregnant with my son, I gained more weight than expected, and it was really hard for me. People would make comments like, "Are you sure you're not having twins?" Which really hurt. Emily just smiled and said she's not struggling at all, that she's thrilled to be pregnant and loves watching the baby grow. She even mentioned that she's hoping to keep some of the weight after the baby is born because she feels more filled out. I felt a mix of frustration and jealousy. I told her that it was really tough for me during my pregnancy and that she might not understand because she's been skinny her whole life and hasn't had to deal with the negative comments that come with weight gain. She got defensive and said that she has her own struggles, like people assuming she has an eating disorder and feeling insecure about her small chest. She said I shouldn't dismiss her problems just because they're different from mine. I admit I got irritated and said, "It's hard to feel sorry for you when you've always been the one everyone admires." She then said that I'm being unfair and that she can't help how people treat her. I told her that it's hurtful to hear her complain about her body when I've dealt with so much because of the constant comparisons to her. Then she snapped and said, "It's not my fault you had an eating disorder, and it's not fair you're taking it out on me." That really stung. I felt like she was completely dismissing my feelings and putting all the blame on me. I got up and told my husband I wanted to leave. We left the restaurant, and I haven't spoken to Emily since. My husband thinks I should reach out and try to talk things through, but I'm still hurt by what she said. Some additional context. Growing up, Emily and I were always compared. She was the petite, delicate one, while I was taller and more solid, as some relatives would say. In high school, boys would always flock to her, and I felt invisible. I remember one time, a boy I had a crush on asked me for her number. It crushed me. When I was in the depths of my eating disorder, I felt so alone. I tried to reach out to Emily for support, but she seemed oblivious to what I was going through. She was busy with her own life, and I felt like she didn't care. I know it's not fair to blame her for my struggles, but sometimes I wish she would acknowledge how her actions and words affect me. At dinner, when she brushed off my concerns and made it all about her own struggles, it felt like she was minimizing everything I've been through. I'm not saying she hasn't had her own insecurities, but it's hard for me to sympathize when she seems to have had it so easy in areas where I've struggled so much. So, am I the asshole for getting upset with my sister and leaving the dinner? Should I reach out to her and try to make amends, or wait for her to apologize?